This is part 2 of the video on my new Pono tenor, the MTD-CR. A couple of things I forgot to mention, and so I thought I'll do a part 2 on this. And in the process, I thought, well, I might as well change the string to the high G. So you can tell that much different. You can go to the other video, compare. Just has a much different feeling, and really, it's all according to your personal taste. What do you like? Low G? Do you like high G? Now, when I was at the Allegheny Ukulele last year, Gerald Ross was there, a very gifted performing musician, uke player. He's high G exclusively. Others really love the low G. I like them both. It depends what I'm doing. If I'm doing any finger picking at all, as far as especially worship music, I've got to have that low G. The high G just doesn't sound right to me. Now, most of the tab, in fact, all the tab that I use, or I've received, maybe at the Ukulele or over the internet, has all been high G. I know there is low G tab, so you want to consider that too. There are certain songs that just aren't going to sound good with low G, and there's plenty of the ones that I have done. If you look at some of my other videos, some of them would sound fine with the low G. Some of them wouldn't even work with the low G. So it just depends on what you like. I like them both. It just depends on the application. One of the reasons I actually bought this tenor was I wanted to have the column, the Pono, and just pick which one I want, low G, high G. The strings, again, are Oasis Brights, and I like them, and I highly recommend them for the tenor. I have tried Worth Browns, and they work fine too, but these happen to be my preference right now. One of the things I really wanted to talk about just for a moment is some of the things that I read about Pono. I don't like the neck. It's like a baseball bat. Well, I want you to look at this neck and tell me if that's like a baseball bat. It's not. Now, if we were to compare this with some other ukes, I think of a Imua, I-M-U-A, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I had one of those. I had a Laprenzi. Their necks top to bottom, and that's what I'm talking about, top to bottom, this depth, were so thin for me, and I have small hands. My hands, I guess, are normal size, but I have really short fingers, just too small. And what I have found is as I have gone on and I've aged, my hands have gotten weaker. I talked about that in the last video. I like to have a little more wood there. And I have read a lot of guys that play uke and guitar that have said the exact same thing. They don't want a really, really thin top to bottom neck. Again, personal preference. Another thing that I've heard is they're heavy. This Pono tenor weighs slightly more than my Kala. A lot of it does depend on wood. You do realize that some woods are heavier than others. But as far as construction, this is a light ukulele. And I really, really like it. It's still breaking in. It's still opening up. It's going to take it a while to do that, obviously. But I'll be playing this a lot the next few months. Another thing, somebody wrote to me and they said, did you mention the truss rod? I did not. Really important to realize that there is a truss rod. There's a metal rod in the neck that allows you to adjust the relief, the curvature of the neck. Now, all the guitars I've played over the years, many, almost every single one of them has had a truss rod, and you have to learn how to do that, adjust, and or have someone do it for you. In fact, right now the only ones I can think of that did not have a truss rod were some of the classical guitars I played, because they were nylon string and they had less tension. Now, this is nylon string, obviously, but Pono gives you the ability to adjust. That's especially important if you're going from different types of environments, say a dry to a humid or a hot to a cold. I've never had to adjust a Pono neck, but it gives you the ability to do so. And if you go on the uke site, Hawaii Music Supply's website, under Pono, you look up even this one, the MTD-CR, you'll see a video that they do about adjusting the truss rod. I think it's a good feature to have. Someone else said, if you buy a bass tenor, there are certain things you don't get, and thus you play less, you know, 350, 390, something like that. And that's correct. I had one of those. Sounds great. Sounds the same. There are some things that you don't get with that. You don't get the, obviously, the binding around the edge, and you don't get the ebony. I did do some research. So the bass, you won't get any binding. You will get some kind of rosette, maybe this rope. You'll get rosewood as far as a fingerboard and a bridge, and that's fine. You know, aesthetically, I went for this one because I wanted the radius fingerboard. Not all the Ponos have radius fingerboards. Not all the tenors do. The last tenor I had a flat fingerboard. So when you pay the difference, couple $100 difference, you're going to get some things that are different, obviously. You're going to get, and for me, the most important was the radius fingerboard. I like ebony too, ebony bridge, ebony fingerboard. It's nice to have the binding around the top. Obviously, it doesn't affect the tone any. The radius fingerboard does affect playability. When you go over to the Pro Classic, then you get the binding around the back and all that. But remember, you're going up cost-wise. So that's, again, you know, the great thing about instruments, it's all personal preference. You know, do you like Pono? Do you like Kala? Do you like, you know, when I had guitars, I've owned probably almost every major, I have owned every major guitar manufacturer. You know, are you a Martin guy or a Taylor guy? And there's reasons for that, and there's no right or wrong. You know, whatever you like, play it. If you love Pono, play it. If you love Kala, play it. I happen to like them both. There's things I like about both of them. I think they're both great companies. So I do like the high G. Again, when I go to this Sunday, hopefully I'm going to the Maryland Uke Jam, I'll take this with the high G. When I go to the Allegheny Uke Story, the high G seem to be a little bit more common, so I'll probably take it there, especially if I go to any classes where we're going to do any note for note type instrumental stuff. The high G will probably fit in better than the low G. The low G may be unusable for some of the songs. So I hope this helps you guys, and I hope I've answered some of the questions that you had asked. Yes, you do pay more money for certain levels of any uke or any instrument, really. Isn't that true? Of course you do. But, you know, you don't have to. The first tenor I had was a satin finish. This is gloss. It was a mahogany. It didn't have any of the bells and whistles, if you want to call them that. But it sounded great. It was a very nice ukulele, and I really enjoyed it. I'm really liking this one. And I hope that you'll take some time to go to the ukulele site and just check out. I'm on there every day checking out their new stuff. It's kind of embarrassing, but you get videos with every single instrument, and that's how I've actually picked out this one and my Kala and a whole bunch of other ones. I bought a bunch of stuff from them. So you also might, as I close, you'll note that I have changed the setup a little bit. I'm not quite as close with recording. I'm actually using my iPhone. I used to use my iPad, but the iPad in the holder, it tilts back a little bit. And some people said, "Hey, could you move the camera back so that we can see when you're playing and the instrument a little bit more and some of your recording and things like that?" So this will be the basic setup for a while. I'm using my iRig mic. I happen to really like that. So anyway, hope that you enjoyed this video. And what I've been playing really is just kind of a 1-4-5 chord thing. I haven't been doing any songs with the guitars. A lot of times when I'm on the couch, I just play, trying to build up my calluses, especially for the uke jam. So I'll do a 1-4-5 kind of a chord progression. Many times the fifth will be an actual seventh chord. So when I opened up, I was doing the C, D, E, F, D. So you got your C, D, E, F is your fourth chord, right? Your G, the second time I played through, I played a seventh. You don't have to. G, seventh. All right. Later on, I'll probably do some instructional videos too, and after I go to the uke jam, I'll be doing a write-up not a video, just a write-up on the uke jam, just like I did with the Allegheny Ukulele. All right. God bless you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video.